daily audio log number 146, audience. Greetings. Welcome back to the channel, audience. And we are very nearly close to the end of 2022, audience. So it's time for a little bit of retrospect, audience, on a few things. So next few days I'll be talking about retrospect. And today I'll be talking a little bit of a story about my relationship with games, audience. Yes, I do like to play. Yes, all work and no play makes Jason a dull boy. Sound like a nerd. Hang on. Okay, so, audience, how did my gaming experience first begin? Well, it all started in 1971, audience. I was only 18 years old, and I was at Monash University, audience. Of course, I'd already been at Monash University for many years after that point. But I still had a spot there, and I was studying some extra stuff, audience, because I had so many degrees at that point. But anywho, they had a computer in their laboratory, and I was able to, I can't remember how, but I was able to get the code for Computer Space, audience. It was basically the first computer game, first distributed computer game. I got the code, and I put it into the computer, and voila! I was doing really well. In fact, I think I had the highest score for a while until I let Ian play, and he beat me. And I never let him back into the university again because... Anywho, 1972, at the end of 1972, I'd say, I think it was, I can't remember, it was a long time ago now. At the end of 72, I started playing Pong, audience. And I used to play with some fellow students at Monash. And I was one of the better players, audience. I was still a teenager at this point. 19 years old, and I had a pretty quick reflexes in those days, audience. I don't want to brag, but I was like the best at Pong. I usually beat pretty much everyone there. There was this one guy here. What was his name again? Kevin or something. He had blonde hair. I don't remember his last name. He was good for nothing guy. Whatever. Enough about Kevin. Anyway, I used to play Pong for many years. I was the king of Pong for many years. I grew bored of it by the late 70s, audience. I played it for a long time. I was a good player. And then the 78 audience. 78. That's when... That is when Monash University had a free, mind you, Space Invaders arcade cabinet. And let me tell you something, I was the best for so long. I was so good at that. You have no idea. That was something. That was great. And I love Space Invaders. It was so good. It was so good. I played that for like 2 or 3 years. I was like, I spent like an hour a week playing it or something. I played a lot of it. Yeah. And in the early 80s, we started playing Pac-Man. And then I started playing Galaga. I loved Galaga. That was good. And then I started playing, and then in the mid-80s, started playing 1942. Yeah, I didn't play that much those days. I wasn't playing much into gaming those days, not in the 80s. I knew that the technology was getting better and better. And I saw the potential. You see, I was one of the first people who saw where this was going. I knew that one day we're going to have photorealistic games. I knew it. People thought I was crazy, but I can see where it was going. Okay, I was a visionary, audience. Visionary. And, yeah, I played a little bit of Mario in 1985, but I didn't really care much for the game. I kind of like competitive games, audience. I don't know why. I've always been something about me. I've got competitive blood, audience. I don't know. That's why I always push myself to be the best, rise to the top, audience. But there wasn't many games in the 80s that I enjoyed too much until Tetris. I like Tetris, audience. When that Russian game came out in 1984, 5, I can't remember. It wasn't really big in Australia. Not many people knew about it, but by the late 80s, I was hooked. I love that game. That was a good game. But the game that changed it all, audience, the game that went from being, this is kind of fun, kind of a niche fun activity, to being, wow, this is amazing, was Doom. Okay, it came out in the early 90s. That was a truly monumental game. I used to play Doom a lot in the 90s. I was 40 years old, audience, but I still liked video games. And of course, I played a lot of Doom in the 90s, audience. And then early 2000s, I started getting into the Elder Scrolls, audience. I like that stuff. That was Elder Scrolls 3, Elder Scrolls 4. I like that a lot. And by 2011, I was playing Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim. And I started playing World of Tanks, which is a game I still play today, audience. It's an online multiplayer game, audience. And it brings out the competitiveness in me. It's very tactical. It's very a lot of thinking involved, audience. I don't have the reflexes like I used to have in the old days, audience. But what I lack in reflexes, I make up for in strategy. Yes, that is a great game. I tried playing Player Unknown's Battlegrounds, audience, and I'm no good at it. I am so bad at it. I just basically hide the whole time, and every time I see someone, I cannot kill them. But the game is just the idea of surviving. It's like a horror game almost. You gotta survive. And there are people everywhere around each corner, and I get my sniper rifle out and I aim at people and I see them in the distance. I could shoot them if I wanted to, but it'd be too dangerous. Oh, the feeling. It's intense, audience. It's a good game, audience. I like that game. Those are the two games I play at the moment. World Tanks and PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. But yeah, I don't really have much time for gaming nowadays, audience. I play a game here and there. But I don't really have time for games. I watch a bit of sport. And I play a bit of video games. But honestly, my life is consumed by my work, audience. I am a workaholic after all, and I love science. I'm basically married to science. I mean, I created a robot for crying out loud. Maybe one day I'll make a robot that I will marry.
No.
Oh. Nah, I'm kidding, Sonny. Yes, well, maybe I'm taking the marriage to science just a tad too literal, audience. But that's it for this. That's it for this daily audio log, audience. You've heard about some history from me, audience, and yeah, not much else to say except for worshipping me.